is 105.5 ESPN, where sports fans can find the best in sports talk and coverage.
Okay, I may not be an official ESPN personality, but it's really cool to act like I am. TV Kids Inc. News is here at 105.5 ESPN Denver Sports Station to get an inside look at the workings of how 105.5 ESPN works and how they operate to meet the needs of sports fans here in the Mile High. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're on air.
The type of radio station we operate here at the Front Range Sports Network is a sports talk radio station. Half of our programming is ESPN National, and then the other half is live and local. I became the managing partner of 105.5 ESPN, the Front Range Sports Network, because I love sports and I love to be able to offer our listeners an opportunity to get the best type of programming you can find both nationally and locally.
Managing a radio station is a very big responsibility and timely task. Deadlines, content, talent, and more deadlines, all to make sure you provide a service that keeps you on the air and your listeners engaged.
So a typical day is we'll make sure that the station's up and running, and then we proceed by having our programming meetings of what we're going to do in the afternoon programming-wise, our sales meetings of what we're going to do sales-wise. So Mike and Mike in the Morning, which is our ESPN programming, is very popular amongst people that didn't grow up in Colorado. And then Cecil Lammy and Nate Kreckman, who do 1 to 3 p.m. and then 3 to 6 p.m. The Locker Room is our other most popular programs. The number one topic that shoots the listeners through the roof is controversy. Recently, Tom Brady, Deflategate, Peyton Manning's arm not being able to throw much down the field. People get excited. So, number one, you have to have good product. Number two, you have to have people listening. Number three, if people are listening, then advertisers will buy commercials on your radio station. And if they get results, then they'll buy more advertising.
105.5, ESPN's very own Cecil Lammy is one of the station's most popular hosts that has taken the topic of sports to a new level.
I've been on the air for about 12 years now, and I love it. As a guy growing up in Colorado, out in the country, I'd listen to sports radio all day long, and I always thought maybe one day I could be on the radio. And now I get to talk every day to thousands upon thousands of listeners about football, which is what I love. So if you talk about dream jobs, I've got it, and I love what I do every day. My show is mainly about football, and more football. Every year I travel to all these college all-star games. I follow college football very closely, and I'll go scout players on what I call the all-star road trip. I'll go to the Shrine Game, the Senior Bowl, the Texas versus the Nation game, and then I go to the Scouting Combine in Indianapolis to watch these players work out as they prepare for the NFL Draft, which is usually in Chicago or New York City. I'll travel to that as well, and then I'll come back and tell everyone here in Denver what I saw and what I experienced. I cover the Broncos and the entire National Football League here on 105.5 ESPN. I think the best part of engaging an audience is just to be yourself. So come on the air every day and talk about what you love, and people will respond to that passion. When you're passionate about what you're talking about, when you're informative with what you say on the air, I think that's where the audience really can be engaged with you.
All right, cool, man.
All right, appreciate that phone call. It's 303-283-1055. Raider Dan brings the truth on line 2. Raider Dan, you're up, dude. I love taking phone calls. I love hearing from the fans because I've got my opinion on the NFL and the Denver Broncos, but what do you think? And then we can talk about it. With what I do, it's basically the travel involved in covering the National Football League and covering the NFL Draft. I think that's the largest challenge, is finding the players, knowing who's going to be good at the NFL level. So it's a challenge for me, and an invigorating challenge, by the way, to really try to dive in and see what these players can do and can't do, and then talk about it on the radio. The controversial issues with sports that I cover usually have to do with off-field incidents. This last year in the NFL, we had to deal with a lot of domestic violence. The players were getting in trouble for beating their wives or their girlfriends, and the NFL came down hard on these players. The public reaction now And it's all part of growing awareness about these issues that we need to talk about. I think that's been very important for NFL fans and for people to hear and to listen about and really think about these important issues.
We all listen to some type of radio station, but sports radio, according to Nielsen Audio, has increased by 9.5 million listeners in the past 7 years. Peyton Manning hasn't been with the Denver Broncos that long, so why is sports talk growing at a remarkable rate? They say it's all in the power.
Sports talk is very powerful. It reaches all demographics, all types of people. When people are trying to create awareness about something, they find athletes to talk about it. That is one of the key parts of the power of sports talk, is celebrity endorsements, people getting behind a cause. At one time, there wasn't a lot of sports talk stations. Well, now sports has become such a big part of our life, and it continues to grow, and sports talk radio is just part of that.